Okay, so guess what my dumbass learned. Well, I started looking at the orientation for UCO that I'm gonna do in the fall. God willing, and the Lord present, that I'm actually going to pass all this next 2 semesters here at OCCC. Apparently, I'll be getting my master's for nutrition. That isn't the least bit scary. I freaked out a little bit yesterday because, I talked to the woman for my fall classes, and she's like, it's nothing. You're going to take organic chemistry and 4 other nutrition classes. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well, is that 16 weeks or 8 weeks? Because I said the 8-week classes are killing me. 16. Okay, so I got a little bit more time on my hands, which is good. Re-asked the hubby if this is something he's willing to help me through. Because I, for the first time in my life, think I can do it. Like I said at the start of this journey, this is not really so much my idea. And I know that sounds crazy for some people, but I wouldn't have picked this, but I love learning about it. I love getting in discussions about it. I love talking to people about it. I mean, food is the most amazing thing to me. And even though chemistry is hard as hell for me to understand, I understand the basics of it. Like, I understand it. But to know the other stuff like thermodynamics is kind of hard. And I honestly, I find it, the whole entire concept of it is amazing to me. I mean, if you look at what the human body can do, and how we abuse it every day, and expect it to work. I mean, you basically take a sledgehammer to your car every day and just every morning go, it's gonna work. Every morning it's gonna work. And if it doesn't, and you cease to exist, do you cease to exist? I mean, I think it's like the longest question in the world is it's not so much why are we there. I mean, you got theologians and scientists trying to figure that out. But what keeps us going? We already know the mind can overrule the body. We already know that because we've seen people hanging on life support still waiting just to see their lost person. We've seen someone who is so in love that dies, that 6 months later, and it's nothing more than what doctors consider a broken heart. You're emotionally down to the point you just die. So I know that. That's why I say it's all in one. What you think, what you eat, you are what you eat. I mean, how you feel at that point. How someone, people look at weight so much so that it's like, yes, it is a factor. I'm not going to deny that weight is a factor. That has never been my thing. I'm saying it's not that much of a damn factor. it's how the weight is. You can be muscular and be considered obese because why? Because you weigh a hell of a lot, but it's pure muscle. The danger with pure muscle is the fact that your body that helps your body, eat. It can start eating part of you, not like eating all of you, but like it can eat away at the tissue of the muscle, and you would be left weak. That's why you're supposed to have like 20% body fat, around like 15 to 20%. I hate the scale so much because it puts so much pressure on everybody. Oh, side note, I am going on 2 days without eating added sugar. Well, I'm not even going to say that because sugar isn't like everything, but I'm not like going out cookies and stuff like that. Do I notice a difference? Well, not really in 2 days. And I got that paraffin wax thing. Really kind of cool to play with. Helps with the irritation of the moment. Doesn't really fix the problem. Probably because it works on the outside, not the inside. The problem is on the inside, not the outside, but the outside kind of causes a lot more pain right now. I don't have the inflammation. I noticed that. Cutting out the sugar, I don't really have any inflammation. Cutting out the majority of my sugar, I don't have any of the inflammation. I'm not going to say I cut out all sugar. What I mean? Well, I do ZipFizz, and I know that's got a natural sugar in it. I eat fruit, so I know that has natural sugar in it. I do my teas, my green teas, and I know, God knowing Crystal Light, that's got some kind of sugar in it. And then like just your basic foods. When I say that, I don't really use the sauces so much. I've cut way back on that. I'm gonna cut back on cheese because I've been using a lot of that. Which that just put in my head, it killed my dinner idea of tuna noodles, but we'll figure something out. Because I know I almost wonder if that's why we've been sluggish. Side note, so we've had like a lot of cheese because we've been doing like a lot of Mexican dishes. Like Kurt made Crunchwrap Supreme, not so much like Taco Bell, but it tasted really good. And that level of cheese, because there was a lot of it when you cook it yourself. Yeah, that was like massive, and I'm still dealing with that, and I can feel it, right? So yeah, maybe that did a lot to it. See, and this is what I'm saying. The fact that the more I learn about foods, and the more I read, and the more I let's look into it, it's just, it's incredible to me. Because, and no matter how sick I get, or shit that I get into, and the more that if I have to go to one of these quacks, that they let loose, it's kind of like, so one thing I learned is that if you take anything with oxy in it, that like oxycodone or whatever, it stops you up. Okay, so if you have a strong dairy diet, you're not only constipated, shit, you're just not doing it, you know. And it's like, that's not good. You can't take it from someone who's lived a life of being full of shit. When I was a kid, my back hurt so bad, and this is a gross funny story. Trigger warning. But I was about 12, 11 or 10, somewhere in the preteen era, and my back hurt so bad, and my dad and my stepmom didn't believe me, and I just would cry out in so much pain that it took them 2 weeks to finally take me to a damn doctor. And when they finally did take me to a doctor, they x-rayed my back, and I was so backlogged, it was up to my spine. And everyone joked, hey, you can really tell people you're full of shit. Well, the funny thing about that is I've always had a problem. I mean, and don't say do this and do this, because my parents and my grandparents, when they were alive, shoved so much diuretic food in me, it was pathetic. Like, I spent a summer living off of prunes and fucking raisins, you know, and they would just read everything they could fucking think of. And again, gross factor, but seriously, remember those suppositories that look like ice cubes? You know, those were just invented by the devil. Because you do not give that to a kid. You know, I mean, and there's a reason for it. It was the food I ate, and the lack of water I drank, and the types of food. I guarantee you, if you ever watched, like, fat and grease and stuff like that congeal, that if you watch it in the world, like, if you're looking at it, it's doing that in your body. It wraps around shit almost like one of those binding weeds, and just holds it. And I know that's gross, but that's so unhealthy. And like, even today I still have an issue, but not nearly like I used to. And all this is to say, to look at yourselves completely. I know I talked to some older people that they literally track their pooping habits. You know what doctors do? They track when you go to the restroom, they track when you go to the shitter, they track when you eat, why? Have you ever sat back and thought, why the hell are you monitored this closely? Because every bit of that matters. Every bit of that matters. When you shit, what your shit looks like, how is it made, is it runny, is it smooth? That helps conclude how well you are. Is your shit bright yellow? Is your pee bright yellow, dark yellow, red, brown, purple? You know, I mean, all this shit matters. And if you don't think about it or don't care about it, and you wonder why you're sick and you're popping all these fucking pills they're giving you, because all they're trying to do, in the grand scheme of things, in my history books, is relieve the symptom. Because they know that 90% of what is problematic in this fucking world with people, or at least 85%, and this is just my damn statistics, so we know that's pretty much just a made-up number. The body can heal itself. They know that much, how much the body can do more to saving its own damn skin than we do. All we do as humans, as living, breathing people, is destroy shit. And the greatest thing that we fucking seem to destroy is ourselves. And I am a living, breathing example. I could give you a history lesson of what I've tried to do and what my body has done to me. Because now that I'm actually smarter, you pay for it. You do stupid shit when you're younger. When you're my age, you pay for it. If you don't pay for it at my age, you will. And if you do stupid shit at my age, you're going to pay for it when you're older. You will pay for it. The piper will be paid. So, I'm not asking you to actually go to as far to extremes as to pay attention to your shit, but Pay attention to your shit. Love y'all.